Live from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway, welcome sim racing fans to the fourth round of the Racecraft TV Rallycross Championship live on Racecraft TV. Happy that all of you are along for the ride with us here on this beautiful Sunday evening. My name is Joshua Lee, and alongside me in the commentary booth is Jordan Hicks. And Jordan, this fourth round is set to be very interesting. As looking at the points as we come into today, we'll start with RX2 because that's what we have coming up first. The two drop weeks, which will drop the two worst finishes from their points, have been accounted for. So the top three are currently the three winners from the three feature races we have had this season.
And, definitely all the points are so close, so it's a tight battle up at the top, and, these drivers are really going to fight here, especially at the Daytona Rallycross course, so it's going to lead to an amazing race here tonight.
And of course, points will be up for grabs tonight in those heat races, as well as the feature race in both RX2 and RX1. They share the same points format. Some small differences when it comes to RX2 and RX1. We're taking a look at the race analysis right now for RX2. 5-lap heats. Top 4 will advance. A 5-lap LCQ with the top 2 advancing to make a 10-car, 10-lap main. That is the same across both of the series, but down at the bottom, that is where they get very different. An 8x incident limit for the RX2 class, a 6x incident limit for RX1, and RX2 will be fixed setup for the entire championship. RX1 will have open setups. And talking about the Daytona International Speedway, I mean, what a fantastic place this is. One of the best places to see a race, whether it's Rallycross, whether it's the 24 Hours of Daytona, or whether it is the NASCAR Cup Series, Jordan. Daytona is so historic, and a win here means a lot, whether it's real life or the sim.
Definitely, and it always leads for those interesting races, interesting finales in the races, and so every single time you see a driver in at least P1, you always expect P2 to be right behind them. So it's just a good place to, have some great battles and finish off a race.
Of course, here in Rallycross, not going to have a lot of pack racing, but we will have that close racing that you mentioned there. I want to remind you that all track and car cameras for tonight were created by Istvan Ballo at trackcams22.com. A couple seconds remaining here in qualifying, and we get a look at the schedule for the rest of the season. We've already put Phoenix, Sonoma, and Charlotte behind us. We have the Daytona International Speedway here this week. We'll go just slightly up the road, some odd, about 6 hours to the Atlanta Motor Speedway and go racing there in the virtual world. Then we go up to Iowa. Then we go to the European side of the calendar, Brands Hatch, Barcelona, and Hell-Lankabanen there in a 3 rounds of Europe portion. And then we finish off the season, Phoenix, Sonoma, and Charlotte, expected to be an 3 exciting rounds to finish off the season. We've already had 1 round at each of those racetracks, so it'll be the second time we go there for these cars and in this championship. Just like that, qualifying has rounded its way out, and we're getting ready to go green flag racing in heat number 1 for the RX2 class. And it is time to take a look at your starting grid here for RX2 heat number 1. And grabbing that pole position is going to be Tor Andre Borison. He starts on the pole with James Watson in P2. Christopher Plumley, Andrew Howell on that second row with Crystal King and Casey Soul, rounding out the 6 drivers who are getting set to take the green flag here from virtual Daytona. And Jordan, heat number 1 is going to set the pace for the rest of the day.
Definitely. So we're going to see how hard these drivers want to fight, and some interesting stuff, because you never know what could happen in Rallycross. You can see some flips in some cars and amazing passes by these drivers we have tonight. So I'm looking forward to it, and these drivers are about to be ready to go green.
Dual 3 wide rows to start this race out. It's time for the first heat of the day here at Racecraft TV Rallycross RX2. Tor-Andre Borison with the inside line heading into turn number 1, and let's go racing. It's a great start from Borison at the front, but they're going to continue to battle further back as they go into the first corner. It's 2x2 all the way through. Crystal King gets a little bit too much on the curb on the inside line. They settle it out heading into the dirt. It's Andre Borison getting a great jump. Christopher Plumley behind. Take a look at the battle between James Watson and Casey Soul. They're trying to protect that spot away from Andrew Howell. Crystal King going way down the order, down into last place, still battling here for P4 as they go side by side off of the dirt section. Oh, and my, a huge flip! That is huge from the 57. Casey Soul up and over onto their lid, and that is the end of the race for the 57. What a wild incident to begin this heat, Jordan. I've seen something like that a couple of times, but man, just went up and over, flipping end over end.
And that's the thing, what I said, you may see some flips. You can just see that whole rear end of that car right here hit that little berm and just completely send it forward and just put into a barrel roll motion. Luckily he landed it, so it was a nice little rollover sort of save he did right there, but unfortunately a tough break and a tough end of the night for him.
So Tor-Andre Borison now leads the way at the front of the field. Still has yet to take that joker. Andrew Howell and Casey Soul, who, by the way, still running on the racetrack, car able to continue with taking the joker. Add Tor-Andre Borison, your current race leader, to that list as he comes into the joker lane. He'll go on to lap number 3. A little sideways coming over the jump, but all good, all well. He stays going forward. Battle for P2 here. Now remember, the transfer spot is P4, and there's a little bit of a battle further back here, but a mistake from Andrew Howell in the 666 is going to move them a little bit farther back from the number 278 of Crystal King. Let's see if that number 666 of Andrew Howell is going to be able to catch up as you're on board with the 278 now, trying to run away, and that is exactly what she is doing right now in the transfer spot, Jordan. Important that she runs away in P4 so she can get that spot in the feature. Still needs to take the joker, however. The 666 of Andrew Howell has already taken it.
And you know, definitely, especially when you're fighting for that transfer spot, you really got to make sure you're on your A game when you're either running away from it or when you're trying to catch it, because you don't want to run out of time when you're behind P4, and so you really want to try and stay up close to their bumper and make sure you have enough time at the end of the race to make for a pass and hopefully get into that transfer spot.
Continuing on at the front of the field, still Tor-Andre Borison. It'll be white flag this time by for heat number 1. Running away with the heat win right now is the 55 of Tor-Andre Borison. Not really too shocking. The Scandinavian has been really fast in RX2. Still looking for that first win when it comes to the feature race. Some solid speed here in heat number 1. Going to open a lot of eyes. Further back, another mistake from Andrew Howell. Or a joker lap from Crystal King, I should say. I'm going to move the 278 further up into the transfer spot in P4. And that Factory Sim Sports Shenandoah Subaru WRX STI going to continue racing in P4. Christopher Plumley still needs to take the joker lap, but doesn't look like it might help him too much, as coming across the line, Tor-Andre Borison is going to walk away with the first heat race win of the day. He takes the first one. James Watson to the outside line. Here comes Plumley with the joker. Is it enough for P2? No, it is not. Plumley going to have to settle for P3. James Watson takes over to P2, and that concludes the first heat of the day here from virtual Daytona. Real quick look at those race results from the first heat, and a great win for Tor-Andre Borison, Watson, Plumley, and King going to join them in the feature. Now taking a look at your starting grid for heat number 2. It is Zach Knowles on the pole. He's already won a feature race this season. He starts on first. Trevor Teal, Zachary Drapkin sharing that front row with Greg Johnson and Thomas Grady there, rounding out the 5-car field that'll take the green flag. We had 9, looks like we had about 11 drivers registered, so we will knock out 1 will take the top 4 here from heat number 2. Ready, raring to go racing. The revs are up and we are green. Great start on the inside for the Canadian Zach Knowles. He gets a great jump. What can Trevor Teal do from the inside of row 2? Drapkin to the outside, side by side, further back between Greg Johnson and Thomas Grady. But as they race into the dirt for the first time, Teal's gonna walk away with that P2 spot. Drapkin gonna have to fight in that Ford Fiesta from P3. Trouble coming over the jump. It looked like the 50 of Greg Johnson got a little bit cattywampus, but he's able to hold that number 50 straight. And that Ford Fiesta is going to continue from P4 in that transfer. They all go into the second dirt section now as Knowles is running away with the lead at the front. Jordan, let's see who's going to come into the Joker.
And you can see the 50 of Greg Johnson really having a lot of pressure right now with the 535 of Thomas Grady, so he's really got to keep up this consistency right now if he wants to keep that transfer spot. You can see one car diving down into the Joker, and that seems to be the 099 of Zach Knowles, and he's going to try and make a pass. Doesn't quite make it, but now Josh, he's got that Joker gone, and he can focus more on his race.
That was Trevor Teal in 72 coming down into the Joker lane, and you can see by that top bar on our timing, Joker laps remaining for Trevor Teal now is 0, and you can see the ones for everybody else in the field means they still have 1 Joker lap to complete, and they must complete that Joker lap before the checkered flag in this heat. But the Canadian Zach Knowles still leading the way. Of course, your feature race winner from Charlotte, starting exactly how he left off, diving into the final corner, the International Horseshoe. As he comes out, Zachary Drapkin comes into the Joker, so that 8 machine gonna finish their Joker lap. Remember, here at Daytona, that Joker lap is a shortcut as opposed to the longer Jokers that we normally see in the European style of rallycross racing. So instead of it being a disadvantage, it is used as an advantage here, which that can lead to some interesting strategy, Jordan, because now Zach Knowles, if he takes the Joker, because Drapkin didn't pass him and neither did Trevor Teal, when Knowles takes the Joker, which is going to be right about now, he is guaranteed to keep the lead unless he makes a mistake, because look at how much time he gains with that Joker. He turns about a couple 10th lead into a couple 2nd lead at the front.
And you can just see he's starting to run away so quickly with that lead right now. So these drivers really got to fight if they want to make a change in P number 1, but he's got a lot of pressure on him because he just wants to make a nice clean race and finish up the front and go and send that the 099 machine to victory lane.
I know, it's a very tough number to say. It can't just be 99. It has to be 099. But I just said it in Charlotte, one of the best looking paint schemes out here. I love the maple leaf colors on it, red and white. Shades of the Northern Nightmare monster truck, I would say, out in front of this field. But the Canadian doing a great job leading the way. And Zach Knowles set to take the white flag here in heat number 2 from Daytona. Keeping up how he left off in Charlotte as Trevor Teal trying to chase down Zachary Drapkin for P2. There is no battle at the transfer. Greg Johnson about 3 seconds off, and here is the battle for second. Drapkin with a mistake leads Trevor Teal to the back bumper. Teal's going to make a look to the inside. Is he going to be able to make a move happen? Drapkin gets a little bit too much on the turtle curb. Doesn't hurt him too much. Great maneuver through that hairpin corner, and the 8 machine is going to continue to run away at the front, but the 099 of Zach Knowles set to come over and across the start finish line, and the Canadian is going to win heat number 2. Zach Knowles keeping his winning ways going from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that Subaru WRX STI grabs the win here in heat 2. Thomas Grady comes across the line, and Greg Johnson, the last driver to come across the line here in heat number 2. Race results from this heat as we get ready for the LCQ. Zach Knowles, Zachary Drapkin, Trevor Teal, Thomas Grady, and Greg Johnson will all be moving on. Time for the consolation. We have 3 drivers that are already on the grid getting ready to go racing. It is Andrew Howell, Greg Johnson, and Casey Soul at the front of the field here, and 3 drivers going racing for 2 spots here in the consolation. They race into 1. This could be the most important corner. Maybe a little bit of contact, but the 2 Subarus on the bottom get the best jump as Casey Soul gets away with the current race lead. It's Andrew Howell and Greg Johnson 2nd and 3rd back from there. Jordan, this race is so important because we're only going to eliminate 1 driver, and there goes Andrew Howell getting passed by the 50 of Greg Johnson. He's already outside of the transfer.
That's the thing, you really got to fight for this one because it's the only top 2 that go over to the main, and so you really got to fight. You can see some contact from Greg Johnson and the, I believe the 666, or maybe that's 57. Didn't really see the number there, but you can see a lot of contact. These drivers are really trying to fight for that transfer spot and to really remain in the lead and just run away with it.
That was the 666 and the 50 that went diving into that corner, made contact with the 57. We just saw dive into the Joker lane. So Casey Soul gets the Joker over with. Slow going into the dirt. Take a look at Greg Johnson. Off the track goes the 50 in a wild crash in his Ford Fiesta. Gonna take him out of this one. What a wild incident there, Jordan. It looked like to me that coming out of the Joker lane, the 57 was just a little bit too slow. Here comes the 50 over the turtle curb, gets up into the air and slams into the outside wall.
And that's the thing, you never know what's going to happen, especially here in Rallycross. You got to be careful how you're taking these turns and how you're really entering them, because just like that, the 50 of Greg Johnson completely jumped that 50 machine in the air, and you can see on board right now, he's going in so quick. Perfect corner there, but it has to check up and sends him into the air and completely messes him up, throwing him into P3.
A wild incident there, but at the front of the field, it's still Casey Soul that has that lead, but take a look at Andrew Howell starting to close on in. Greg Johnson way off the pace. He is actually in the pit lane there. You can see him there. So it's just these two at the front of this field that are currently battling for these final transfer spots, and they are guaranteed these transfer spots. Now it's just going to determine who will start 9th and who will start 10th in the feature race. 2 to go in the consolation here for RX2. Remember, we will have more racing coming up in RX1 that is coming up immediately following the conclusion of this RX2 round, and then we will have the heats, consolation, and feature for RX1. And the difference between RX2 and RX1, and as opposed to just the incident limit and the open and fixed setups, RX1 features a ton of your favorite World Championship Rallycross drivers in the iRacing service, as well as some of the best of short course as well, all going battling in Rallycross competitions. You do not want to miss that one. Winner from last week, Alex Bergeron, gonna try and go back-to-back in the feature, and if we get another unique winner here, as we are on the white flag lap of the consolation, we're on a streak of a bunch of unique winners in every single round, and Andrew Howell gonna go by Casey Soul. It looked like that 57 might have had a slowdown, didn't hurt him too much. They're gonna go right back to the lead, but here comes Andrew Howell back to the inside. They'll continue to fight. Soul gonna keep that lead, and Andrew Howell gonna have to fight from P2 as they dive into the final corner here in the consolation, into the Joker. He saved it for the last moment, and Andrew Howell gonna walk away with the consolation race victory. A great run in the consolation for that 666 machine. That takes him over into the feature race. Full results from your consolation. Not too many results to really look at here. There was only 3 drivers who took the green flag. Greg Johnson getting wrecked out on lap 2. So he will be out of the race. Now Andrew Howell will start 9th for the feature, and Casey Soul will start shotgun on the field in P10. Warm-up currently underway here, and it's about 2-minute warm-up, expecting it to be skipped here in a moment, or they're going to let it hold off for the entire warm-up. But Jordan, I think the main story that we really have to talk about here is the 099 of Zach Knowles. He's going for 2 in a row when it comes to the feature race win, and he could be the only back-to-back winner and the only 2-time winner of a feature race this season. The Canadian's really fast out here in his Subaru.
You know, definitely seems like he's really running this track the way he knows it, and he's really cutting those corners perfectly with that 099 machine. It's just running his way here tonight, and Josh, I really think he's gonna walk away with that 2nd win in a row.
Very, very possible, and we will have the starting grid for the feature for you here in just a moment as the field gets ready to take to the grid. And remember, this is RX2 that is out here on the track for a warm-up right now, and we're getting ready for the RX2 feature race, and you can catch all the action from RX1 once again coming up immediately after the conclusion of RX2. Time to take a look at your feature race starting grid, as on the pole it is going to be the number 099 of Zach Knowles. What a great effort through the heats for that 099 machine. And your other heat winner going to start right to that outside as we get you a full look at the starting grid here in just a moment here as we cross over into the feature race. Here is your full starting grid. It's Zach Knowles on the front row alongside Tor Andre Borison, your winner from heat number 1. James Watson going to share out that top 3 that will start on the first row. Back from there, it's Zachary Drapkin, Christopher Plumley, and Trevor Teal. And back all the way through your starting grid, it's Crystal King, Thomas Grady, Andrew Howell, and Casey Soul. Time to take to the green flag here from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. All 10 cars are on the grid for the feature race. It's RX2 feature time in Daytona. The lights come up. Let's go racing. What an electric start from Zach Knowles in the middle. He's going to take the early lead. How many drivers are we going to have out in turn number 1? They've beaten him banging into the corner. Christopher Plumley goes damage in the middle. Trevor Teal has to go way wide at the International Horseshoe. It's Knowles with the lead. It's Tor Andre Borison trying to fight from P2 as they all go into the road for the first time. Zachary Drapkin gets turned around further back. He's able to save it, but Plumley's around at the jump. They continue to fight. Andrew Howell toes it back to the pit lane with Zach Knowles leading the way here early in the feature. What a start for Zach Knowles at the front of this field. Now, the timing tower will say Andrew Howell. Little update as the field goes right on by him. He towed into the pit lane on that opening lap. Borison, Watson, King now gonna go way wide. The International Horseshoe look like they might have a problem or a slowdown. Zachary Drapkin, same thing, very slow with the slowdown. He gets back going in P7, but Jordan Chaos on the opening lap, but a battle for the lead is starting to develop.
And we said this from the start, the 099 of Knowles, he's going to run this race the best he can, and you can see he's really perfectly timing those corners, and he's fighting off the 55 of Borison, and so he's really looking to try and take home that second win in a row, and he's really looking like he's got that chance to because he's running so consistent. Yes, he's got that Joker lap, but maybe we'll see what we saw last in the consolation where the driver used it on the last lap, but you can see the 55 of Borison using his now, and he's going to take over the lead from the 099 of Knowles.
Great move from Borison, but it's all not going to be worth anything as Zach Knowles goes right back to his back bumper. Now, remember that Joker Lane Delta is about a second and a half, somewhere around that range. So that's the amount of time that they are going to gain over a driver that does not take their Joker lap. So Tor Andre Borison, even though he did get his Joker Lane done and he is in the lead, Jordan, once Zach Knowles comes into the Joker, that lead is going to be gone because here it comes right here. Tor Andre Borison was not in front by enough time, and Zach Knowles is going to go right back to the lead. As you take a look on board with Borison, he's still close to the 099, though he can still make a move for this win as they both have their Joker lanes over and done.
And I'm curious to know how long the 099 of Knowles is going to be able to fight for it. But you can see the 55 is right on his side, on his right side of that 099 machine. So these drivers are really going at it tonight to really take home that win. You can see the 55 having to check up a little bit on that corner, but he makes it work, and he's still on the bumper of the 099.
Racing now for the win. Both of them are fast. Both of them are close together now. James Watson still needs to Joker from P3. He's 6 seconds back from this fight. Not in the battle for the lead. It is just these two at the front of the field, and it looks like an incident for Casey Soul. She gets turned around over by turn 7 and goes back onto the racetrack. We'll stay with the battle for the lead as it is just swapped as Zach Knowles gets turned around coming off of the jump. Watson goes on by. We'll get a replay for you now. But what a development in the battle for the lead of the RX2 feature race win as Knowles gets turned around coming off the jump. And there's the contact. There's the flip. He's going to move down into P3 now, Jordan.
And you know, that's the thing. He's really going to have to fight for it if he really wants that race win now, because it threw him, like you said, down to P4, but now he's back up into P3. He's already got his Joker done and dealt with, so all he's got to do is really run his own race and just really try and make up that time gain that he's lost.
There was that flip on the Racecraft TV replay. And now that moves Tor-Andre Borison back up to the lead here in this feature race. Most of the field has their Joker laps over and done, and we continue to fight here in the feature. Teal now able to get by Zach Knowles, and you can see that front end punched in on that car, Jordan. Would not be surprised if that Subaru is starting to feel some effects of engine damage, because that entire front end is pushed way in on that 099.
And definitely you can't really run with damage like that, because it's just going to keep slowing you down lap by lap. So you better hope that car's still running at 110% like he did at the start, because he was running so many fast laps. And you can still see he's trying to run his line, but that car just seems a little slower than normal. But it's going to be a tough battle if he wants to make it back up to the top.
And not a lot of time to do it. 4 laps to go. Here it'll be 3 at the line in the RX2 feature race. Remember, right after this race is concluded, we're going green for RX1, so make sure that you stay tuned. This is not the only rallycross racing we're going to have today. Is what a drift coming through the International Horseshoe for Tor-Andre Borison. He feels confident at the front of the field, and he flies over the jump with 3 laps remaining now here from virtual Daytona. The gap back to James Watson. You can see it up on your timing tower. 3.8 to make that 4 seconds now as it climbs way on up. But Tor-Andre Borison is feeling confident out there, Jordan. He's drifting it into every corner.
Definitely he's got to be careful, though, because you better hope P2 is not right there and he just doesn't know. But, a great night for the 55 right now. We saw him earlier on tonight, and he was doing just so amazing, and coming out here to the main, he's rocking first place. You can see his lowest is P2, and so he's gonna hopefully walk away with this win, as he's got 3 to go. Well, 2 to go now.
2 laps to go, and that gap is fluctuating between first and second place, but still over 3.5 seconds, an average gap over P2. So Borison looking rather stout at the front of the field and looking to walk away with this win. Not a lot of battles going on the track currently. The closest battle is the battle between Dratkin and Trevor Teal, as they battle for P3 currently on the racetrack, so we'll keep you updated on your race leader as he comes through the International Horseshoe, the final corner on this track, and across the line it'll be white flag. 1 final lap to go here in the RX2 feature race. Tor-Andre Borison with this feature race win is going to keep the streak alive of a unique winner in each feature race, and with the drop weeks being counted, also looking to jump himself up in the points standings. Through the final couple of corners and down the final straightaway and into the final corner, Tor-Andre Borison, a celebratory drift through the final corner. The 55 machine is victorious from Daytona. And what a win for Tor-Andre Borison. We've been talking about him since the first race. The Scandinavian is always fast and keeping up his fast ways here at Daytona with his first win of the season. And Zach Knowles with a damaged Subaru gonna come home P7 on the day. Well, an exciting night of RX2 action concludes just like that. Let's take a look at your full race results here from the RX2 feature race. Tor-Andre Borison able to walk away with that race win. It's James Watson P2, Trevor Teal P3, Zachary Drapkin P4 with Christopher Plumley rounding out your top 5. Zach Knowles, Thomas Grady, Crystal King, Casey Soul, and Andrew Howell rounding out the remainder of those spots. Jordan, what an exciting way to start off the action here. We had everything we could have asked for in that feature, a close battle for the lead, and unfortunate for Zach Knowles, one mistake took him right out of that race win.
Definitely, I thought he was going to take home that win here tonight, but, just like you said, one thing could mess up your whole entire night, and we saw that, unfortunately, for that 099 of Zach Knowles. But, like you were talking about, we had a lot that we asked for tonight. We saw some flips, we saw some saves, and we saw some great battling for the lead. So a definitely interesting night for RX2.
Of course, we still have RX1 that is coming up here soon, and we'll have that coverage beginning for you in just about 5 minutes. But for now, we're going to grab your second place finisher from RX2, get him in here for an interview, that being James Watson. A good second place finish for Watson, and he's also keeping up a relatively good streak of finishes here in RX2, so great to see from him. And we'll grab James Watson now, bring him up here into the commentary booth. And James, it's been a relatively consistent season for you, continuing that here in Daytona with a second place finish. Congratulations. How'd that car feel out there?
Man, that little beetle that could, she felt great. Repping Bug Life out there, bringing home the second.
And of course, going through those heats in that feature definitely did not look like an easy track out there. Daytona Long, obviously a fan favorite, a driver favorite. Is it one of your favorite circuits, and how are you responding to the circuit? Because it is quite different than a lot of the other rallycross courses that we usually see here on iRacing Rallycross.
Well, thankfully, I run the Pro 2 Lite series a lot. I'm won the last 3 championships, so I have a inordinate amount of experience in place. It really doesn't help, and now a whole lot transfers over from the truck to this outside of just knowing where to go. But, you know, as they say, knowing is half the battle out there.
And moving forward now, we're going just a little bit north up to Atlanta. How do you think you can do at the Atlanta Motor Speedway when it comes to the RX2 action?
Oh, man, I really don't have a whole heck of a lot of experience there, so it's going to take a lot of practice for me to try to keep the streak going. And maybe, because I've been going up 1, 3rd, 2nd, hopefully maybe jump up that one further spot next week.
We look forward to seeing you in Atlanta, James. Thank you for joining us here post-race. Congratulations on that second place finish here in Racecraft TV Rallycross RX2.
Thank you.
Good to hear from James Watson. Second place finish in RX2, and just like that, getting ready for coverage to begin of RX1 as the field currently taking to the track for practice, and we'll get you settled in and ready for the RX1 action. We've already previewed RX2. It's time to preview RX1 by taking a look at their point standings. And once again, the 2 drop weeks are already starting to be counted. So Sindra Silva and Alex Bergeron, the current top 2. Adam Alderton is the 3rd driver there. He was our feature race winner from Sonoma, but 1 point down because of, I believe, a smaller down finish in the heat race. He did not win his heat. He got second place in his heat, not giving him the maximum 23 points that are up for grabs. So Sindra Silva and Alex Bergeron going to come into tonight's event at the front of the field, first and second in those points standings. To remind you of the points format, remember, first place in the heat will get them 8 points. Second place in the heat gets 7, and so on down to the maximum amount of 8 cars, gives them 1 point on the board. And for the feature race, points up for grabs in each of those spots. But Jordan, take a look at the gap from first to second, second down to third, and third down to fourth. It is not 1 point increments down in that top 5. It is 3 points and then 2 point increments. So any spot in that top 5 is worthy of a good amount of points, other than the spots further back.
And, you know, definitely, I'm really looking forward to that feature because a lot of those drivers are really going to fight for P1 through 3. So, because it's the biggest amount of points you can get on the RX1 track. And so, it's going to be interesting. But like you said, P5 and up is just going to be an amazing battle in upcoming races.
And we talked a little bit earlier about the drivers who are taking part here in RX1 as we take a look at their race analysis. Same thing as RX2, 5-lap heats, top 4 will advance, a 5-lap LCQ with the top 2 advancing. Then we'll go racing for a 10-lap main event with 10 cars competing. 6x incident limit, so much less, 2x less than the 8x incident limit in RX2, and an open setup versus the fixed setup. So these drivers aren't going to be using the run-of-the-mill iRacing setup. They can put whatever setup they want in those cars, which we have a good amount of pro world championship rallycross drivers in this field, Jordan. They have some fast setups.
And definitely, that's definitely going to be your main key to win here tonight. So you really better hope your car's got a good setup in it, because these drivers are going to be so fast to a point where if your setup is messed up a little bit, you may be falling down the order super fast.
Working ready for the RX1 action to begin. Field taking to the track for qualifying. We will follow along with the newest driver here in RX1, Matt Busa, World Championship driver in NASCAR, as well as a former World Champion driver in the iRacing Rallycross series. Let's see what he has got for this lap as he works his way into this tight hairpin and over back onto the asphalt. Will it be enough to take the pole position here in RX1 qualifying? Let's see, is it going to be enough at the line? 39.623, that is going to 39.575, excuse me. That'll nab him 4th place on the leaderboard. A great run from Matt Busa here in qualifying, as we have more drivers taking to the course, as we get a good look at Jacob Raffles, one of the newer drivers that'll be taking part in iRacing Rallycross competition this season. Excited to see what he and that Set Esports crew is looking forward to doing as we continue to get on ready for RX1 action. 17 drivers are getting ready to take part here in the next round from Daytona, and that is exciting to see, to say the least. We are going to cut 7 drivers from this lineup. In Jordan, I'm not sure there's 7 drivers to cut from this lineup. There are so many amazing drivers getting ready to take the green flag.
And that just means these drivers are going to fight so hard in even the heats and the consolations and then that feature. So it's going to be a good night for RX1 here tonight, and I'm really looking forward to it because, like you've mentioned before, we've got a lot of world champions in this race, and it's going to be a good one.
And just a couple more minutes remaining here in qualifying. Would like to remind you that Racecraft TV Rallycross is presented by Sparco, newest sponsor to the series, and we thank them for all of their support of Racecraft TV Rallycross. And we continue this inaugural season. So amazing to see all of the wonderful support that this series has had through the Rallycross community. And also just exciting to see where this series is going to be taken in the future, as we have so many amazing competitors that are with us each and every week, and just awesome to see just everybody coming together in Rallycross. World Championship drivers, non-World Championship drivers, all looking just to come out here on the track and lay down some amazing racing for all of you fans tuning in on Racecraft TV. We'll get a quick look at the current weather conditions, and relatively cool day here in Daytona Beach, Florida. 68 degrees on the air temp, 71 degrees track temp. Winds 2 miles an hour to the north, so not terribly windy here in Daytona, but it is a relatively cool day here for mid-September in the sim, or sorry, mid-May in the sim. May 15th sim time and early morning, 8:30. That could also explain a bit of the cool temperatures here in virtual Daytona, but getting ready to go racing in RX1, and time about to wrap itself up here on qualifying, and the excitement is building for RX1. Remember, we are on a streak of different unique winners in both RX2 and RX1. RX2 continued their streak of unique feature race winners here from Daytona. Will that streak be continued in RX1? 9 drivers are getting ready to take the green flag here for heat number 1 of RX1. And starting on the pole, It is going to be Garrett Mains with the fastest lap out of qualifying. He starts beside Josh Fox, Adam Alderton, Josh Edmondson, Jason Hoek with Dorian Baptiste, a new face starting there in P6, and all the way down to P9, Robbie Laurel, Bodie Cryer, and Keaton Swain. Jordan, 9 drivers. We're going to cut 5 from this heat race here, and that is only 1 less than what we're going to see in the feature.
You know, definitely. So this is going to be a really good one. This is going to be the taste of what we're going to see all night long with how these drivers are going to perform here at the Daytona Rallycross course. And like you said, a lot of these drivers are going to be cut down. And I'm curious to know who, Josh, because a lot of them are so quick.
That is the golden question. It becomes a game of survival. And who can survive this track? Who can survive their heat race? And it's time to take to the grid, and it is time to go racing. Garrett Mains, Josh Fox, Adam Alderton, all sit ready and raring to go on that front row. Take a look at that second row. Josh Edmondson, Jason Hoek share that row. Further back, it'll be Dorian Baptiste, Robbie Laurel, and Bodie Cryer. And way in the back, it'll be Keaton Swain in the 21. Time to go racing. It's Heat 1 from Daytona in the RX1 class. The green lights come up. We're racing, and a great start on the outside. Look at Adam Alderton. Gets a great start. He's going to hop out to the lead, but tries to shove off Garrett Mains. Edmondson hits the turtle curb. It's chaos in the opening turn. Everybody going to get through cleanly as out in front, it's Garrett Mains. Alderton settles for P2. Fox, Baptiste now up into P4. Robbie Laurel, Josh Edmondson fighting for P5 as they all go through the corner now into the dirt section for the first time, trying to get their bearings as Garrett Mains tries to pull away at the front. Look at the move, Jordan for P2. Contact made between Josh Fox and Adam Alderton.
So much action happening right now. These drivers fighting so hard to make sure they are in that transfer spot. But you can see a great start for the 14 of Garrett Mains, but he's got the 27 and the 12 behind him, so he's got to keep up that momentum to keep on onto that lead.
What a start for Garrett Mains, and they come across the line for the first time. We noticed something in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship qualifying series presented by Yokohama earlier this year at the Daytona long course, because this was the opening round of that series. We noticed that everybody pretty much saves their Joker lap in the feature until the final lap. Is an interesting strategy, and I'm wondering if we're going to see it here, because that we really only saw it at Daytona. We haven't seen a strategy like that yet this season, and we didn't really see it in the heat too much. We did see a lot of drivers save it to the end, but right now that seems to be true, as nobody is electing to Joker except for Bodie Cryer. He's going to take it on lap 2, go up to P7. And of course, continuing now on the racetrack, and Mains with the lead, using a bit of grass to his advantage, trying to get a little bit more grip on those tires, Jordan. That just goes to show just how quick these drivers are. Any possible grip spot, any possible time they can make up on this course, they are going to take it, because they are the best of the best and trying to always get faster. Any small advantage they will take.
And that's the thing too, you just want to really run away from the driver behind you, and so that's what the 14 is really trying to do. And like you were talking about, it seems like he's saving his Joker lap for that final lap, because like we've mentioned before, it's about a second faster, and you can see another person, a few more drivers take their Jokers. And so I'm really curious to know who all is going to take their Joker and when they are. And so it all matters about how they do and where they're looking at the track, on the track right now.
Adam Alderton with a slowdown there. He loses 1 spot to Josh Fox. He'll go side by side now with Robbie Laurel as they exit the dirt section, using a bit of grass to his advantage, and that's going to give Alderton the spot over Robbie Laurel in the 213. Here comes Alderton into the Joker. Interesting to see from him. It looks like also joining him is going to be Dorian Baptiste there in P4 now. So Mains and Fox at the front as the white flag comes out. The 2 at the front who have yet to Joker. Josh Edmondson is also yet to Joker. This is going to be interesting for Edmondson, because he can make it up into the transfer spot with this Joker. We're going to focus on this battle right here for the transfer spot. Mains and Fox both will Joker, expecting both of them to go into the feature. Josh Edmondson fighting for a top 4 transfer spot. Across the line goes Mains. He is going to take the win. You're on board with Edmondson. Is he going to get by P4? Watch that blue Subaru on the outside. Coming to the line. not enough. And by one spot, Edmondson is going to be sent into the consolation. What a way to finish the first heat race of the day. We get ready to go racing here in Heat 2. Let's take a look at those Heat 1 results, because that was an exciting one. And Edmondson so close, but by just a couple of tenths, going to lose out on that transfer spot. Mains, Fox, Alderton, and Baptiste will move on into the feature. Time now for your heat number 2 starting grid. Alex Bergeron, Jacob Raffles, Sindra Silva, Connor Parisi, and Matt Busa, the top 5. 8 drivers will go racing here in heat number 2, and the final 2 spots are taken up by Matt Hartley and Kieran Forrest. So time to go racing in heat 2, and Jordan, excitement going into the first corner of heat number 1. I'm expecting some of the same here as we're already ready to go. The lights come up. We're getting ready to drop them. There's the green. We are underway. Take a look on the outside line. That's Sindra Silva. He gets a good jump, but Rafa's going to be able to clear Bergeron into the first corner. Uses that inside line to his advantage. He is going to go out and into the lead, trying to block off second place at Silva. He does so for the moment. Bergeron will have to settle for P3 as they all go over the jump and into the dirt, Jordan. This is going to be a crucial corner. Who's going to take the braking zone hard?
You can see the 63 really trying to get on the bumper of that 13 machine. So, Josh, I'm looking to see if there's going to be a change for the lead up in the coming laps. But you can see how hard these drivers are fighting. They're really trying to be as close as possible to the driver in front and behind them. So, interesting racing here. At the start of the race, we're only on lap 1 of 5. So, these drivers are really fighting really hard in only heat number 2. So, this feature is really going to be interesting. You can see the 63 bumps the 13 out of the lead. So, some interesting racing right there. But a little bump of play right there was made, and interesting racing so far here in RX1, heat number 2.
Raffles gets bumped out of the way by Sindra Silva. Look at Alex Bergeron forcing his way to the inside of Silva. It almost worked, but the door was slammed by the 63. Now the two's gonna have a bottleneck behind him as Raffles and Parisi go side by side. Maybe a little bit of door banging. Parisi gonna get sent wide. Is he gonna go into the Joker here? No, he's not. He stays out on the racetrack. But look at Matt Busa. He has an opportunity now to race for that transfer spot. And these transfer spots are so important here, Jordan, because with this battle for the transfer, they have to get, there will go into the consolation, which it looks like we're going to end up with around about 9 cars in that consolation race, fighting for 2 spots in the feature. So even less spots than we have up for grabs here in the heat.
You know, definitely, and that's going to be even harder to do as it is right now. And so you can see the 63 of Silva dropping down into the Joker lane just to get it out of the way and really focus on his race. And he's just, you can see how far he is from P number 2. He's about 2.7 seconds ahead. And so the 63 of Silva running a great race right now. Just got to keep it up and he can walk away victorious in heat number 2.
Silva, Joker lane done. Alex Bergeron now goes to P2. Still close for this transfer. And with 2 to go, Busa's going to have a lot of time to make up. But here he could do it as Raffles makes contact with Parisi. There's the door for Busa. He's going to go right on by Raffles. Can't even cover off the spot. Yes, he can. Put Matt Busa up into the transfer spots. What's Raffles going to do? Tries to go to the bottom. Door is slammed. Take a look at the little bit of contact being made, but the final lap is out here in heat number 2. Everybody still needs the Joker at the front, and Raffles is trying to get around Busa. This is the battle for the transfer. Into the dirt section they go. Contact made. Busa gets sent to the grass. Comes back on. Contact with Raffles. They both get turned around. Who's going to get going first? Out and into the transfer spot goes Raffles. Kieran Forrest now gonna try and get P4 away. He goes into P5 across the line. Sindra Silva looks to try and get the win. Photo finish. He will. Alex Bergeron Joker's too late, but Kieran Forrest trying to get the transfer. He already used his Joker. So Jacob Raffles is gonna walk away with your Heat 2 transfer spot in P4. what an exciting end to that heat race. It's time for the consolation. Quick look at your Heat 2 results after that barn burner of a race. Silva, Bergeron, Parisi, and Raffles will move into the feature race. All the others will have to go into this last chance qualifier, better known as the LCQ. Josh Edmondson, Matt Busa, Robbie Larill will share that front row. Kieran Forrest, Jason Hoek, Matt Hartley on row 2. Back from there, it's Bodie Cryer, Christian Lindo, and Keaton Swain. Ready for green. Field's already looking for the lights. 5 laps here in the LCQ. They're going for 2 spots. We're racing down into the International Horseshoe. Great start for Busa. Question is, can he hold on to it? Larill on the outside. They stack up through the middle. 3 wide for a moment. Battle for the transfer spot between Edmondson and Larill. It'll be Edmondson getting in over the jump for the first time. Larill falls to 3rd. Off the jump goes Kieran Forrest. And around goes Bodie Cryer at the start. They continue to fight side by side further back, but all eyes are on the transfer, Jordan. Edmondson has it right now in P2. Larill trying to fight from 3rd.
Edmondson's just got to keep that momentum up just to keep that transfer spot locked in place. And he's just got to run his next 4 laps nice and clean behind the 7 of Busa, because, you know, you got a lot of fast drivers here tonight, and they're only fighting for 2 spots. And so Edmondson, he's the target right now. So the drivers are really going to want to try and get him into a bad spot and take over that spot. You can see one of the drivers already dropped down into the Joker, but you can see the 7 of Busa just running away with that lead right now. Edmondson not too far behind, but still locked in with that transfer spot.
That was Matt Hartley that dove into the Joker. Matt Busa, Josh Edmondson stay at the front of this field. Robbie Larill now trying to get around Matt Hartley, and this is the battle now because Hartley has taken his Joker. Trying to dive to the inside was Robbie Larill, just could not get that open door. Question is, will any unique Joker lane strategies be used here by any of these drivers at the front? Because so far tonight, it has been pretty cookie cutter. Save that Joker till the end. Looks like already a bit of uniqueness as Larill is going to elect to come into the Joker lane. So put the 213 back up into 3rd, but Busa and Edmondson have already completed haven't completed their Jokers, excuse me. So now, Jordan, with these front 2 having not taken their Jokers and it being a shortcut Joker, meaning they will gain time on any driver in front of them, Larill will need to pass them on track. He cannot use that Joker to his advantage anymore.
And that's the thing, the Joker gives you so much advantage, like you mentioned before, and so I'm curious to know how far it's really going to put the 7 of Busa in the lead, because it puts you at least up a second faster than you normally were. You can see it looked like he got about an off-track penalty right there, so he had to slow down, which gives it a little bit of room for Edmondson to speed up there. He's still struggling with it, so this is opening the door for Josh Edmondson in the 58. Just got to nail his corners and hopefully take over that lead.
Look at how close Edmondson almost got there. 2 to go. This is going to be the real test. Is anybody going to dive into the Joker in this battle for the lead? Edmondson stays out, so does Busa. So it looks like Edmondson now just trying to qualify for this feature race as Robbie Larill from 3rd place sees the white flag. He is going to have almost no chance unless Busa or Edmondson make a huge mistake here. There's the mistake from Busa. Edmondson's going to get by for the lead of the consolation. Question is, can Larill make that pass? Doesn't look like he'll be able to. It will be Edmondson and Busa going into the Joker, and it looks like both of them, barring any penalties, will be the 2 that advance into your feature race tonight. Coming onto the straightaway and into the Joker. Here comes Edmondson. Here comes Busa diving in, and they will both take their final spots. Edmondson consolation race win. Matt Busa takes the final transfer. That will finish the LCQ. Last cars coming across the line. Keaton Swain Jokers at the end, and that is going to wrap up your consolation race. And as we work over into the warm-up period for the feature race here for RX1, What a win for Josh Edmondson, and what a transfer for Matt Busa there into the feature race. Matt Hartley able to get around Robbie Larill for third place, but it doesn't matter. Hartley, Larill, Christian Raffles Lindo, Kieran Forrest, Bodie Cryer, Keaton Swain, and Jason Hoek will be eliminated from this race. They will all now be going home and wondering what if from Daytona, and they'll have to try again when it comes to Atlanta in 1 week's time. So warm up now underway for the feature race, and as we go live to the track for this short warm up here, Jordan, gotta talk about some of the faster drivers, and Alex Bergeron trying to go back to back, and you can see him here having a little bit of start practice. Bergeron seems to be one of the drivers to beat. But the main question is, can Matt Busa get it done? He has had a very fast number 7, raced out of the constellation, but racing out of those heats, Sindra Silva, Garrett Mains, fastest car in qualifying. Who are you going with here for the RX1 feature race win?
You know, like you've mentioned, there are so many fast drivers here tonight, so I want to keep my eyes on the 7 of Matt Busa. He's so fast, especially here at the Daytona Rallycross track. He's just so perfect with every single entrance to his corners. Yes, there's those times where people can mess up, but he's one of those drivers where he seems like he's ran this track so many times before, he just knows it, and he just enters so well, and he runs off with that lead so well. So Josh, I'm going to keep my eyes on that 7 machine here tonight.
Big task in front of Matt Busa, starting shotgun on the field, but I definitely don't think it is a huge risk to bet on Matt Busa here. He is very fast in any car you put him in on the iRacing service. Just like that, it is time for the feature race here from Virtual Daytona. Let's take a look at your feature race starting grid. Grabbing the pole for the feature race is Garrett Mains in the number 14, Sindra Silva at P2, Josh Fox, Alex Bergeron, Adam Alderton, Connor Parise. Gonna round out your top 6, and back and rounding out your top 10, and all 10 drivers taking the green. Dorian Baptiste with Jacob Raffles, Josh Edmondson, and Matt Busa advancing in from the constellation in the final 2 spots. Jordan, this start is going to be crucial. We've seen a lot of races here today, won and lost, diving into that first corner.
You know, definitely you got to be careful because these drivers just really want to fight for that lead. So depending where you are on the track, you may get sandwiched between 2 cars, and so you got to make sure you're in the perfect spot, because the last thing you want is not making it out of the corner of the first corner, and you just want to be able to run off with that lead, or at least in that top 3, so you can have a good spot when you go into this race.
Here we go, lights are up. Time to go racing in the feature from Daytona for RX1. Look at the start on the inside from Garrett Mains. Josh Fox with a similar start on the outside. They'll go side by side into the first corner, the International Horseshoe. Getting the lead is Garrett Mains, albeit by inches. They'll race into the first time dirt section. Contact made between Fox and Silva. They still make contact over the jump. Hard contact coming into the first corner. Alderton, Batiste get contact. Silva with contact. He goes way into the middle of the pack now, but racing through into turn 7, it's Mains with the lead. Parisi gonna have to tow it all the way back to the pit lane. Fox now fighting with Bergeron, fighting with Raffles. They all fight further back, but Jordan Garrett Mains gets away with the lead, and a considerable one at that, about 1.5 seconds.
And we saw he was our fastest qualifier, I believe, for this race, and so he's definitely putting on a show for these drivers to even watch behind him. And you can see the 13 of Raffles he went into the Joker right now, puts him up into P number 2, but that 14 machine is so fast right now, you got to really be on your A game if you want to catch him and take over that lead.
Garrett Mains this season here in Racecraft TV Rallycross has started every feature race, has yet to win one. He is looking to win his first here tonight and is going to get close, as he already has a considerable lead. Needs to keep the consistency up. Diving into the Joker, Alex Bergeron. Fans will recognize that name. He is into this season's iRacing Rallycross World Championship, which will be starting this week. But He is also a multi-time champion when it comes to World of Outlaws World Championships on iRacing. If anybody knows his way around dirt, it's Alex Bergeron. But take a look at Jacob Raffles trying to get that spot away. He's going to have a nose in going into the corner. Look at Josh Fox in the 12 trying to work his way up into that spot as well. But taking it over is Jacob Raffles. Now side by side, it's Josh Fox and Alex Bergeron. A little bit of door banging, but Bergeron's going to hold on to the spot. Mains still out in front by a good margin. Battle a little bit further back as Josh Fox dives into the Joker. Raffles and Bergeron now are left to battle on the racetrack, but now Mains is left out in front. Joker lap still available, so Jordan Fox, Raffles, and Bergeron, if they want a shot at this win, will need to catch Garrett Mains on the racetrack and get by him, or hope for a huge mistake from Mains, put him out of contention even with the Joker lap.
You know, definitely, but with that Joker, that's going to help the 14 so much coming to at least those final few laps, because we usually see these drivers, at least from tonight, they dive down into the Joker with maybe a lap or two remaining, and so that's what I'm thinking the 14 is going to do here tonight. But you never know, Josh, like you said, a huge wreck could happen and it completely mess up the 14 of Garrett Mains, but we hope that commentator curse, like I've done a few times before, doesn't really happen, and he just hopefully runs a good race and walks out victorious here tonight.
Issues for Jacob Raffles coming over the jump. We'll grab a real quick Racecraft TV replay because I found it interesting. He fell from about second all the way down to seventh. Oh, hard contact with Sindra Silva. Same contact with Alex Bergeron going into the dirt section. We'll grab one more look, and there it is. A hard door slam with Silva. Slams off of the tire barrier not once but twice. Also slams off the front end of Alex Bergeron, and it looks like we might have a little bit more issues. No, he's just goes side by side with look to be Josh Edmondson. Alex Bergeron off the racetrack. What has happened to the number 2 machine? Let's grab a Racecraft TV replay of this one. What happened here to Alex Bergeron? He got turned around going into turn 7. Contact with Busa. Yes, there it is. And just a little bit too much. Not once, but twice. That sent Bergeron around. He toes it into the pit lane. It will not be a back-to-back winner, and we are getting ever so close, Jordan, to really ruling out a multi-time winner here as Garrett Mains continues to pull away. The closest multi-time winner, or the closest winner so far this season that could go multi-time, is Sindra Silva sitting there in third. So Jordan, right now Garrett Mains at the front, and even if Josh Fox is able to catch him and pass him, even with Garrett Mains' Joker lap still being available to him, we're looking at that streak of unique feature race winners staying alive.
You know, definitely, he's got a lot of competitors behind him, so he's got a little bit of pressure. And so, like you mentioned, he's got that Joker still, so I'm curious to know when he's going to actually use it, because it may actually help him get away from the 12 of Josh Fox. And so, unless the 12 is right on his bumper, maybe the 12 will be able to walk away with the lead, but you never know, because that Joker lane is so quick, and especially the 14 running the laps he's running right now, he's running them so well to a point where he's running away from P number 2. So I'm just really curious to know when he's going to take it and if it's going to help him.
Now, realistically, when we talk about the Joker lap here, Mains still has it available to him, which we'd call it available if it's a shortcut, which it is here at Daytona. So Mains is going to gain about 1 to 1.5 seconds on Josh Fox, maybe even a little bit more than that. We'll say conservatively 2 seconds that Garrett Mains will gain on Josh Fox. So Fox will have to pass Mains, not only that, pass him, but pull away by 2 seconds. Then that makes it harder for Garrett Mains, even with the Joker, to get by him. But now as Mains pulls right back away from Josh Fox, looked like Fox had a little bit of a slowdown there. Garrett Mains is looking like he is in the catbird seat when it comes to this win of the feature race here at Daytona. Has started every round this season, has talked openly about his struggles coming through this season. But as he takes the white flag, it is one more lap to go here in the feature race. And Garrett Mains is looking to walk away with his first feature race win of the season. He's also bounced back and forth between the Subaru and the Volkswagen Beetle. Chose the Subaru here for Daytona, and as he comes through the dirt section for the final time, Close battle a little bit further back. Jacob Raffles and Matt Busa will keep you updated on this battle after Garrett Mains comes across the line. But through the Joker lap, your feature race winner from Daytona is Garrett Mains for Elliott Sadler Esports in the 2. Coming to the line, does Jacob Raffles or Matt Busa have their Joker? No, they don't. Final effort from Raffles, not going to be enough. Busa in his opening round for Racecraft TV Rallycross comes home with a top 5 in 4th. Raffles comes home 5th. Edmondson comes home 6th. And also in his first race here, Racecraft TV Rallycross, Dorian Baptiste is going to walk away with an 8th place finish. So that rounds out all of the races here today, but don't go anywhere. Post-race interviews are coming up with your top 3. But first, we'll take a look at your full race results here from the feature of RX1. And what a win it is for Garrett Mains in that 2 machine, 14 in the sim. He takes the win. Josh Fox in 2nd, Sindra Silva 3rd, Matt Busa 4th, with Jacob Raffles rounding out your top 5. Josh Edmondson, Adam Alderton, Dorian Baptiste with Alex Bergeron and Connor Parisi rounding out those 10 spots from the feature. And Jordan, what an exciting feature race we had, and what a dominating performance from Garrett Mains.
And, especially from the start of this race for RX1, we had so many fast drivers here tonight, and we had to cut a few of them down. And so a lot of them who made it further, they did a tremendous job. And, Garrett Mains walking out with the win tonight, it was a great time. And, a great race put on by the 14 machine tonight.
Definitely not surprising to see why Garrett Mains is exactly where he is in terms of iRacing Rallycross. He will be competing this season in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, and once again, just not surprising to see at all. We currently wait on him to enter our interview waiting area, and there he is. We are going to very quickly grab him up here into the broadcast booth and hear from your first time feature race winner this season, Garrett Mains for Elliott Sadler Esports. Garrett, what a dominating performance from you. A perfect hat trick, fastest lap in qualifying, a heat race win, and the feature race win. Congratulations. This has got to feel good.
Yeah, definitely cool to be back. I kind of figured, coming to somewhere that was familiar, I would pick it up a little bit quicker, but I didn't think I'd be as fast as I was today. So definitely cool to, I feel like I found a little something, but obviously I want to work on it and get better for the race pace. I got a little sloppy there. I didn't realize how fast. I think it was Josh that was coming there at the end, and I had to turn it back on just in case I made a mistake. But it was definitely a lot of fun today, and hopefully we can carry that into the World Championship on Wednesday.
Yeah, and that World Championship is coming up, and we'll get to that in a moment. But talking about Racecraft TV Rallycross, next round to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, virtually, of course. And how confident are you in that course? Because we've seen it in the World Championship before. We've seen it in the qualifying series. It is a fan favorite track. How do you think about it from a driver's perspective?
I actually really like that track. That I can't say it's like the best track for me, but it's one of those that is definitely a lot of fun to race and a lot of fun to drive. So I would rank it up there, just like Daytona, of being one of the really good courses on iRacing. So definitely looking forward to that. I think it's another course I know pretty well, so hopefully this kind of pace will continue, but definitely cool to be able to get it done today.
And of course, going into the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, what you're taking from Racecraft TV Rallycross, how much do you think that's going to help you going into the World Championship? Because a lot of the drivers, they're going to be racing week in and week out in the World Championship Series, are racing here in Racecraft TV Rallycross, and it's a good little practice going into the week.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm here, actually. I've been on break, basically, from Rallycross for a long time with the Coke Series going on, and just haven't had the time to, commit to just running random Rallycross races throughout the week. But this is concentrated to Sunday afternoons. It's quality drivers. It really gives you an idea of what you have going into the World Championship races. So it's good to get some experience with really good drivers, and definitely something I'm going to continue to do throughout the season just for preparation.
Well, so good to hear from you, Garrett, here post-race. Congratulations on your first feature race win of the season here from virtual Daytona.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I got to give a shout out to OfferPad, Smithfield, Linux, Nutrient Ag Solutions, Digital Hub, everybody at Elliott Sadler Esports. Definitely a lot of fun today, and hopefully we can carry this momentum on to the next race.
Great to hear. Thank you,
Unplugged my
Garrett,
headset.
for thank you, Garrett, for joining us here post race, and good to hear from your race winner, Garrett Mains, in the 14. And we go now to second place finisher for Hanson Williams Esports. It is Josh Fox joining us here in the commentary booth now. And Josh, so close yet so far there at the end. What did you need to catch up to Garrett Mains and be the race winner, top step at the podium here today?
I think probably just settled out with the track position a little better. Kind of had a joker in front of me and battling a little bit the first couple laps, and that was the gap really after that.
And going through that feature race, obviously took the Joker a little bit closer to the middle of the race. Was that for track position, or was that really your strategy going into the feature race? And if it wasn't, what was your strategy with that Joker lane? Because we've seen, especially here at Daytona, it is used a lot like a tool rather than just a thing that you have to do once during the race.
Yeah, my optimal strategy is to take it on the last lap, because it doesn't hurt you going through the first chicane as much as it does. Like when I took it, it cost at least 3/10 or 4/10 on the lap. But I pretty much had to take it, to get in the clean air. And I think probably had a bit for Garrett on pace, but just too far back.
And going through this season, we go to Atlanta Motor Speedway next. What are your thoughts on that circuit? And do you think that you can walk away with the feature race win there and get your first of the season?
I love the track, one of my favorites, and have run really well there before, so definitely a good chance.
Well, thank you very much for joining us post-race here, Josh. Congratulations on your second place finish here from virtual Daytona.
Thank you, guys, and a big thanks to the Hanson Williams Esports crew. Definitely excited for the World Championship coming up this week. And also can't go without thanking BenQ Monitors, Chill Blast PC, Fanatec, Playseat, One All Sports, Team Razor, Hoisting Belt Pedals as well.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here post-race, Josh. And good luck in that iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series as well. I know we'll all be watching.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Good to hear from second place finisher Josh Fox. And we go to your third place finisher, Sindra Silva. He came in to this race tied for the points at the top of the board with Alex Bergeron. And Sindra, looks like after this one, you're at least unofficially going to be pulling away a little bit in the points. How was that race from your perspective there in the 63?
Really tough, to be honest. I didn't get the position I wanted out of the start, and it was a little incident over the jump there, so I got caught down a little bit. So I was down at P5, I think, at the moment there, and I just needed to try to flat out push. But yeah, I was involved in some incidents here, so it was not my best race, I would say.
And even if with it not being your best race, you still came home on the podium in P3. Does this give you a little bit more confidence going into the remainder of these rounds that you do have pace to succeed even when you do end up getting in an incident?
Yeah, for sure. The schedule now is really tight with the World Championship races and things going on. So we just need to see what match up, and we will try to join in at some races. But this is not the priority, sadly. So we will just jump in when we have the time and the practice.
And with the World Championship starting this week, can we expect to see you in Atlanta? And if we can, how confident are you that you can be the first multi-time winner in a feature race this season at that track?
Atlanta is a track I like. I have a good pace there in my own eyes. So it would be fun for sure. And we will try to do what we can to make that happen.
Well, thank you very, very much for joining us post-race, Sindra. Congratulations on your podium finish here in third place.
Thank you, guys.
Great to hear from Sindra Silva, and that is going to wrap up our coverage here on Racecraft TV of Racecraft TV Rallycross. And make sure that you tune in to the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, as their season will get started this Wednesday. You do not want to miss it. The qualifying series was an exciting one. A great crop of rookie drivers are going in, as well as the best of the veterans veterans of the series. They start their season at the Daytona International Speedway long course, the exact same course that you saw here today. And we will follow the official iRacing Rallycross World Championship schedule every week, so you can tune into Racecraft TV Rallycross on the Sunday before and get a preview of what you will see on iRacing's social medias come on Wednesday. So tune in for that one, and make sure you tune in 1 week's time when we go racing from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway here in Racecraft TV Rallycross. For Trevor Teal at Racecraft TV Rallycross, for Josh Edmondson at Racecraft TV, car and track cameras by Istvan Ballo, and for my colleague in the booth, Jordan Hicks, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in to live coverage of round number 4 of Racecraft TV Rallycross from virtual Daytona, and we'll see you in 1 week's time for round 5 from virtual Atlanta.